If I'm not responsible for the impact of my actions, then what are the consequences to me of hurting people? Why then am I not free to follow any urge or impulse that occurs regardless
Well, you are free to follow any impulse or urge.
with no consequences?
Well, the consequence of not allowing source energy to flow is that you don't do so well. In other words, when you are in vibrational harmony with your source, you are thriving. And to the degree that you are not allowing it, you are not thriving. One day, not long ago, Esther was watching a television program. It was a comedy program. There were several children from a neighborhood, and one of the children is announcing to the others that his father told him that there is no devil. And all of the little children just jumped for joy and immediately began being as bad as they could be. Since there is no regulator now, we might as well be as bad as we want to be. And that is sort of the way the world thinks it would be, but the opposite is really true. When you are in vibrational harmony with source energy, you are an uplifter. When you are pinched off from source energy, that is when you are more likely to do your harm. We've never seen anyone offer anything that is harmful to another while they are connected to source energy. Not once ever, you see. Mm-hmm. And so the consequence, we are not wanting to use that word because it is not a retribution. It is the natural consequence of your vibration. You are always living the result of your vibration, always in the moment. The way you feel is the indicator of where your vibration is. And as you maintain that feeling, it becomes more and more and more and more and more and more. So what you are thinking and what you are feeling and what you are getting is always a vibrational match. You're talking about, but what is my responsibility to another? And we say, your responsibility to another is to feel as good as you can feel, but it is their responsibility in the way they accept you. In other words, they have the choice of letting it in or not letting it in. You see, it's a circle of conditional love that you are talking about here. It never works, but it's sort of what you're talking about. So I must control my behavior and be as I think others want me to be so that they can have a better experience. Whenever you're trying to understand something as a whole, bring it down to something simpler. For example, let's say that you have someone, maybe a daughter or a friend, someone that you're wanting to influence in the most positive way you can. And so you really take this seriously and you work very, very hard at being the most lovable person that you can be. Because when you're lovable, this person that you want to influence favorably feels love. So you just be as lovable as you can be, and this person, when they view you, then feels love. The problem with that is, now they need everyone in their experience to be lovable so that they can feel love, and they resent those that don't care enough about them or don't even know them. In other words, suddenly it feels like the whole world is not complying in the way it needs to in order for them to be in a place of well-being. Where if you have taught your friend or your daughter or whoever it is that you care about that their happiness does not depend upon your behavior, then you have freed them, because now they have discovered that their happiness does not depend upon anybody's behavior. Their happiness depends upon their choice of thought. Their connection with source energy is under their control. Yes.
Two more quick clarifications. If 90% of the world lives in abject poverty, unlike most of us here, and even in this country, then 90% of the world is miscreating.
The problem with your theory is that you are assuming that the way you are creating in your environment is the perfect way, and that anyone who's creating differently from you must be doing it wrong. It is also part of your theory that having things is the perfect life, while there are many who are not desiring them. And so what you have to realize is that the way a person feels is the ratio between the desire that has been born out of their experience and the belief that they are currently holding. So for example, let's say that you're living in your environment and you have developed these desires and expectations of a lifestyle. And then you see someone living in another part of the world that lives far differently. And then you superimpose your desire over their beliefs and you say, oh, they're a long way from where I think they want to be. And we say, but they are not necessarily a long way from where they want to be. that's like looking at your cat and feeling bad that it isn't more dog-like.
Yes.
And your cat says, but wait, I'm a very happy cat. And you say, but you don't jump through hoops, and you don't chew on this bone, and you don't bury things in the backyard, and you can't run as fast. And the cat would say, lady, you got problems. I'm a very happy cat.
Okay, last one. I'll make it really specific so to help me understand better. My sister was born with cerebral palsy. So did she choose for fun and the joy of the experience to be born?
Well, it's hard for you to see from this experience, because even as you're using the word fun and joyous of the experience, you don't see all that much happening within her experience. Everyone always chooses. Now, let us give you a very fast, broader view of this. As the fetus is forming in the womb, it is the energy of the mother that is supporting it. In other words, its consciousness has not yet come in the way you think of as soul. It is the desire and the calling of the mother that is supporting the growing of the fetus. And then at the time of first breath, usually, it is not always such, but the majority of the time, that is when the greater consciousness of non-physical then focuses within the physical body once it is born. In every case, that consciousness comes forth not just willingly, but exuberantly, because it would not have to come forth. In other words, if the consciousness did not choose that experience, it would not come forth. And so the question is, did this non-physical energy really want that experience? And the answer has to be yes, or it would not have come forth.
But for what purpose?
For the purpose of having a different experience, for the purpose of seeing contrast in a different way, for the purpose of asking from a different perspective, from the purpose of being on the leading edge of thought, for the purpose of amplifying a question and summoning non-physical energy as an answer, for the purpose of assisting others in getting a clearer idea about what unconditional love is, for the purpose of helping people to understand that all do not have to live as identical clones in order to have glorious experiences. In other words, there are endless purposes, for many powerful purposes. It's hard to understand it, because as you stand with your intentions and say, I surely would not choose that, it's hard to understand why anyone else would. And sometimes even the person who has chosen it is standing in the middle of it and saying, I'm sure I did not choose this. I'm sure that there's something wrong with all of this. And we say, every one of you, no matter what your origin or place or timing or condition of birth or where you stand even now is, every one of you chose it on some level. The big question, an even bigger question, the question we would like you all to ask, and the question that we would all very much like to help you to answer and really get, is that when you stand, wherever you stand, whatever the conditions are, out of that is born a desire that if you could find harmony with it, you could fulfill it. Do you know? There is not one, no matter how defective they have been labeled at time of birth, there is not one who could live within that experience and give birth to a rocket of desire, a yearning or a wishing for something different, that if they could release the yearning and wishing and come into vibrational harmony with the desire, there is not one who does not have the full ability to achieve it. There is no condition that you cannot modify into something more, any more than there is any painting that you can paint and not like and just paint over it again. There are many limiting thoughts in the human environment that make it feel like it is not so, as you have these incurable illnesses or these unchangeable conditions. But we say they are only unchangeable because you believe that they are.
It seems like a catch-22. If you don't have the tools or the physical infrastructure to do the work,
then maybe you came forth to stir up the contrast, to put yourself in the place of heightened desire so that your part in this lifetime would be the stronger asking, understanding that the universe will answer. And maybe the contrast between where you are and where you are believing is not so great that you are suffering. So you are fulfilling your role as the asker while others will be in the place of receiving. In order to really get this, you have to realize that you are all a part of the greater whole, you see. Whenever we talk in this way, we are always wanting to add to that. But the purpose of this workshop is to assist you wherever you stand in you coming into full alignment with the desires that you've given birth to. It is awfully nice and altruistic when you come forth and bang around in whatever for the birthing of the new desire, understanding that the universal energy will answer it and the world will be a better place because you have lived. But we want you to have a good time in your now experience, and that is the way you intended it. Just do not assume that because somebody else is living something that you now would not choose, that they didn't choose it and in fact are not now choosing it. Just let them all have whatever their experience is while you do your best to align with source energy. In other words, feel as good as you can feel in every moment. Sometimes when you have the benefit of meeting someone who has a very different view of life, you discover that they are contributing in enormous ways and actually are not unhappy in their differences. In your physical environment, you tend to try to make everyone sort of the same. As your children are born, your school systems say, oh, this bent toward this skill is not saleable, so wouldn't you like to do this instead? Here are 5 choices. Wouldn't you like to choose one of these 5 things? And many of the children comply to that, but your children are being born with broader ranges of intentions than ever before. And they are coming forth less willing to be compliant, to pound those square pegs into round holes or round pegs into square holes. They are coming more determined to be the diverse group that they are, you see. And we think it is a good thing as humanity discovers that everybody is not supposed to be the same and that your diversity or differences add to the whole. It's just like the circle of friends that we talked about earlier. As you have one that's sort of a comedian and one that's sort of mothering and nurturing and one who's always solid. And in other words, as you bring your different personality characteristics to the whole, the group has such balance and such harmony and such a very good time. And your world from non-physical, which is where it is all projected from, everything that you are living here is the intent that was set forth from broader perspective. You are living the manifestation of that which you dreamed from your broader, wholer self. All of it is set forth with such balance and perfection. And when you find a way to get into vibrational harmony with the well-being that is so dominant, fewer of you will be suffering your separation from that well-being. There is only a stream of well-being which you are letting in or not. And you can tell by the way you feel in the moment whether you're letting it in or not. So as you look at someone you love, like a sister that's suffering from some disease or someone who's having some experience and not having a good time, and you hold them as your object of attention until you don't feel good, you're using them as your excuse not to allow the energy to flow. And in the majority of cases, they are not doing the same thing. In other words, you're suffering needlessly on their behalf. You're trying to superimpose your desires over their life experience. And our loving, encouraging, constant, ever-flowing advice to you all is mind your own business and do not find yourself responsible for the way others respond to their lives or even to your life. We sort of wrapped your first question right back around here, didn't we? In other words, it's your job to live your life. It's your job to respond to life. It's your job to choose the way you feel. It's your job to line up with source energy. It's your job to let it in or not let it in, and it's everybody else's job to do the same. And when you're all doing your job, everybody's free. You all feel better.
How do we get so off track? I mean, we've been off track for 2,000 or more years.
You're not all off track, and you're not all always off track. But the way you get off track is by utilizing the contrast in order to give birth to desire and getting stuck in the contrast rather than flowing with the desire. In other words, that's it right there. The contrast serves you by being the leading edge rocket of desire. But when you focus upon the justifying stuff that gave birth to desire, so you hold yourself in the lackful place rather than going with the desire, now you've misused contrast. The only difference really worth talking about between the physical you and the inner you is that your inner being utilizes contrast in order to birth desire, but never uses the contrast in the way that we would call resistance. Non-physical does not experience resistance, physical often does. And the off the track that you're talking about is the resistance. And resistance is always pushing against something not wanted, and you always feel negative emotion. So a very specific, direct, really good answer to your question is, how do we get off track is not nearly so important as when you feel negative emotion, you are off track.